Welcome back to American Agenda. I'm Katrina Zish. It is time now for The Other View. Well, you might have heard about it, a major shakeup taking place at MSNBC. The network revealing a series of sweeping lineup changes, moves, and cuts. And among the casualties, the host of the 7 p.m. hour, Joy Reid, a major Trump critic. She became emotional when asked about the cancellation of her show, The Readout.
I've been through every emotion from, anger, rage, disappointment, hurt, feeling that, guilt, that I let my team lose their jobs, but also that my show had value and that, that what I was doing had value.
Well, last night, Reid signed off for the very last time, but not without taking a final dig at President Trump.
We begin tonight with what I think is the question. When you are in the midst of a crisis, and specifically a crisis of democracy, how do you resist? When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here. The first rule is to fight back, to never stop resisting.
Well, the move not sitting well with many at MSNBC, including its top star Rachel Maddow, who just publicly criticized her own bosses.
I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. It is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows.
And now former MSNBC host Tiffany Cross, well, she's calling for a boycott among Black viewers.
Don't watch where you're not welcome. Don't shop where they won't hire you. The same thing they say. Don't even hate watch. Her show was doing very well. You know whose ratings ain't doing well, who ain't never got fired? Morning Joe. Joe Scarborough. They went to kiss the ring, and they are still being elevated.
And joining me now, media relations expert and founder of Allison May PR, Allison Maloney, alongside former RNC Deputy Communications Director and Vice President of COIN, Cassie Smedley, and Democratic strategist Theron Bond. Welcome to all of you. Very, very interesting developments here. We know that across the board, we've seen a lot of firings and cutting back and lineup changes at CNN as well. A lot of this based on ratings. That's what the top brass that these networks are saying. Allison, do you think it's helpful when other talent at a network, or even the talent who just left, kind of goes and spins everything? Or is that just simply what they're doing based on emotion? Break it down for me.
Yeah, I think she's doing it based on emotion. We've seen this before. I think that she'll be fine. She'll probably get a podcast somewhere. But, to one of those points, the ratings since Trump won for Joy Reid's show, she lost half her viewers, according to Nielsen ratings. So it does come down to ratings, and that's why you're seeing some of these networks lay off some of their hosts, because they're just not pulling in the ratings that they did before, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, it comes down to the bottom line. Theron, President Trump, he received word of Joy Reid's firing, and maybe not surprisingly, and just like her, he did not hold back. Here's what he said. Based on her ratings, which were virtually non-existent, she should have been canned long ago, along with everyone else who works there. Obviously, the president does not mince words, but neither does Joy Reid. What's your take on all of this?
Well, first of all, that's not very presidential of anyone to say, certainly not Donald Trump. And secondly, if we look at the landscape of media and what it's changed to over the course of the past election cycle, I mentioned this months ago that we were going to see a media shakeup, and that if people did not kiss the ring of President Donald Trump, that they would see things change. And I think that not only CNN, but also MSNBC and so many others have felt pressure from the current administration to remove people that have been outspoken and boldly, and primarily those are Black members of the media. If you can tell me how many Black women there are on cable news at night, then I'd be more than happy to entertain any statement that you make regarding ratings. But we know that that's simply not the case, because we see people that have poor ratings that strategically remain at the top, while Black women in media are consistently sacrificed for those people. And to see someone like Rachel Maddow, who's clearly still at the top of her game, even admit and put her own career on the line for the sake of Joy Reid and so many others, and the other Black and brown anchors who we also see losing their shows, whether they are host or co-host on that network, then we see that it is really not about ratings, and it is about what they see on their face, which should never be the case. But we see it across networks, and we also see it with networks like Newsmax, because if you can tell me how many people there are that look exactly like me on Newsmax, then I'll also be happy to entertain that it's about ratings and not about something else.
We'll have to get back to you with a number. All right, for now, let's take a look at some of Joy Reid's most controversial moments.
Similarities to what happened in Germany and what's happening now in America are just undeniable. They can drive out the brown people and the Black and Asian people, or just sink them into the same apartheid they've created in Texas. Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not. This will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy. And you didn't even have to storm the Capitol, smash the windows, or try to kill police officers or issue death threats to poll workers. See, you did it just by voting this time. Congrats. You got your way. And he even got away with breaking the law. Yay.
Yeah, Cassie, what do you make all of this? Race or ratings?
Well, I mean, just look at how the election turned out last November. Donald Trump increased his share of the vote across every voting bloc, every demographic in the country. So to say that this is about race is simply not true. What you're seeing on MSNBC, not only have their ratings plummeted, Joy Reid's lost 40% of her ratings year over year, but that her every night, her breeding this division, her breeding this anger, viewers are saying that just doesn't comport with what I'm feeling in the country. My anger, I am angry at the rich and well-connected who aren't working to represent me. So I voted for Donald Trump. I am angry at what I see with my grocery prices. And you're trying to tell me that this is about race and division. I'm not buying it. I'm going to get my news elsewhere. And I'm able to do that now because I have more options.
Yeah, you know, also we got it. We have to go. But I do want to say, you know, Joy Reid had her show for over a decade. As we all know, media is changing all the time. Might just be time for something fresh, something new. That's what it sounds like. All right, Allison, Cassie, Theron, thank you so much for joining me on The Other View.
Yeah.
All right, more American Agenda up right after this quick break. Thanks.